You know Gabriel Iglesias, stand-up comedian, Netflix superstar, and the man who gave us the unforgettable phrase, "I'm not fat, I'm fluffy."
For the record, I'm not fat, I'm fluffy.
But today, we're taking you into a side of him you might not know about, his jaw-dropping car collection. And trust me, it's not your average garage. This is Fluffy's Automotive Wonderland. Now, when you think of classic cars, names like Ferrari or Lamborghini might come to mind, but for Fluffy, it's all about Volkswagen Buses. That's right, this guy has a collection worth over $3 million, and it's loaded with vintage VWs. These aren't just any buses either. They're restored, customized, and have enough personality to rival their owner. First up, we have a 1967 Westfalia Camper that started its life in sunny California, traveled to Germany, and found its way back home. What makes this bus so special? Well, it's been decked out in a color scheme that screams luxury. Think of it as the Bentley of VW campers. And yeah, it even has wood cabinets and a bed in the back, ready for the ultimate road trip. But the Fluffy Museum isn't just about keeping things stock. No, Fluffy adds his own touch to every ride. Case in point, his 1966 Ironman Bus. Inspired by none other than Tony Stark himself, this bus sports a custom red and gold paint job that makes it one of a kind. Seriously, if Iron Man had a Volkswagen, this would be it. And let's not forget the 1963 15-window bus, which Fluffy calls Quinceanera. Now, true collectors know that this model is actually rarer than the 21-window buses everyone goes crazy for. So while most people are chasing after the popular models, Fluffy's got the real gem right here. This bus is a true collector's dream. One of the crown jewels of his collection is a 1959 23-window bus. Now, if you're a VW enthusiast, you already know that this is like the holy grail of buses. Fluffy bought it fully restored from a friend, and believe me, it's one of the most pristine examples you'll ever see. It's got roof racks, chrome accents, and it's as close to perfect as you can get for a bus that's over 60 years old. And it doesn't stop there. Fluffy's also got a 1968 bay window bus that holds a special place in his heart. This was actually his first car.
My first car was a 1968 bay window, which is different than these. These are all split windows and mine has the full windshield.
A beat-up old bus that he got for a few $100 as a teenager. The version he owns now, well, let's just say it's a lot closer to the dream he had back then. Completely restored and customized, this bus is Fluffy friendly.
It's a lot more fluffy friendly, if you will.
As he likes to call it, with all the comfort upgrades he could ever want. It's like his very own time machine, taking him back to his first love of cars. Now, you'd think collecting one type of vehicle might get boring, right? Not for Fluffy. When you've got a passion like his, every bus tells a different story. He even turned 2 of his buses into giant fish tanks. Yes, you heard that right. These Frankenstein buses, as he calls them, were chopped up and transformed into fish tanks for his museum. It's all part of what makes this collection so, well, Fluffy. But it's not just Volkswagens that fill up Fluffy's man cave. Enter Muscle Alley, where you'll find some serious horsepower. Fluffy's a huge fan of American muscle cars, and sitting in pride of place is a 2012 Trans Am. This beast is based on a Camaro chassis, and only 77 of them were ever made. And yes, Fluffy owns number 20. But what really makes this car special? It's signed by Burt Reynolds himself. That's right, the same guy who made the Trans Am famous in Smokey and the Bandit. Can you even imagine the bragging rights? Then there's the 1978 Trans Am, and of course, the Dodge Demon and Hellcat that round out his muscle car collection. It's clear that Fluffy doesn't just collect cars for the sake of it. Each one is a carefully curated piece of automotive art, customized to his exact vision. You see, Fluffy doesn't just buy these cars and leave them as is. He works closely with a master restorer, his good friend Henry Marchanda. Henry has restored about 80% of Fluffy's collection, and let me tell you, these aren't quick paint jobs. We're talking full-blown restorations, where every nut and bolt is taken apart and rebuilt from scratch. For example, the 1967 Westfalia Camper. When Fluffy bought it, it was just a plain white bus. But after Henry got his hands on it, it became the classy, Bentley-inspired masterpiece it is today. They even upgraded the engine, so if Fluffy ever feels like cruising up to Big Bear, this baby is more than ready to handle the climb. Fluffy also insists that every bus be drivable. These aren't trailer queens that get parked in a museum and left to collect dust. Nope, Fluffy takes them out for spins around Long Beach. Each bus has been modified to keep up with modern traffic, with upgraded engines like the 2-liter motor in one of his buses that pumps out 180 horsepower. Now, for a vintage Volkswagen, that's no small feat. And let's not forget about safety. Many of these buses were built in a time when seatbelts were optional, if they existed at all. But for Fluffy, safety's a priority. He makes sure each one is fitted with modern upgrades, like Willwood brakes, so they can stop just as well as they can go. After all, these buses may look like relics from the past, but Fluffy wants to enjoy them in the present. But it's not all about functionality. Fluffy is all about adding his personal flair to each car, whether it's by slapping on some extra chrome, installing custom roof racks, or using Porsche alloy wheels, just like back in the day when people used Porsche parts to upgrade their Volkswagens. So, what's next for Fluffy and his epic car collection? Well, if you ask him, he's got big plans. In fact, once he's done adding to his fleet, he's planning to turn his entire garage into a public museum. That's right, he wants to open the doors and let everyone experience the Fluffy Museum firsthand. His vision? To create a place where people can come, check out his amazing Volkswagen buses and muscle cars, and even learn a little bit about the stories behind each one. And let's be honest, it's already halfway there. People from all over the world have visited his collection, snapping photos and marveling at the sheer variety and craftsmanship that went into restoring these cars. Whether it's the rare 15-window bus, the custom Trans Am, or even the quirky fish tank buses, every vehicle in the Fluffy Museum tells a story. But for Fluffy, it's not just about the cars. It's about creating something that'll last long after he's done driving. He's built this collection to share with the world, and when you see the level of passion and detail in each vehicle, it's easy to understand why. Every car represents a piece of his journey, from the early days of his comedy career to his rise as an international superstar. If you enjoyed this deep dive into his one-of-a-kind fleet, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more celebrity car collections, auto tours, and everything in between. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite car from Fluffy's collection? Until next time, keep cruising and stay fluffy.